to do for the next half hour, and I will also do an exercise which I hope you will enjoy in this particular thing. Okay, so let's see first what is gamification or what is simulation, and let me put my PowerPoints there so that it is easier for me to start what I am talking about. Okay, so this is the topic. Beth, do you mind if you can confirm, or Deepak, can you confirm that you are able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So we are going to learn marketing essentials via simulation and gamification. Simulation and gamification. And as I mentioned earlier, I am Dr. Mohan Agarwal, and I am President of INDO-GULF Management Association. I am also recipient of the UAE Golden Visa for Research Excellence, US Fulbright Fellow, EFMD Fellow, SAC Paris, British Council Fellow London twice. I have taught in about 20 countries and in the best business schools, and I am also ranked among the 251 most fabulous global education leaders in the world. Now, what is going on in gamification? In gamification, there are four things which are very, very important. Remember, there are several ways of learn anything. The age-old method is lecture. Lecture which has now become PowerPoint presentation, and as you have seen that most of us use our PowerPoints to address you, to connect with you. The difficulty is that this is a one-sided method. One-sided method means that there is a speaker and there are audiences, and they do not interact all the time with each other. They interact either at the end of the session, like Beth said, can we have the questions at the end of the session, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or there are people who will use what is known as, say that, listen, if you have any questions, sorry, time is up, you can, write to us the questions, we will answer. The difficulty with that method is that it is a very, very impersonal method these days. People don't want to be heard. People don't want to just be a listener. They want to be heard. Heard means they also have some questions, and they would like those questions to be taken up first, then probably something else. So for that particular reason, there was a second method, and that second method was called problem solving teaching method or problem solving learning method. PBL, or problem-based learning method. So here a problem is given to someone, and that particular problem is solved by the class or by the audience or by the learners, and then during the process of solving that problem, they learn something new. And wherever they have some problem of thoughts, then the professor will come and provide those thoughts, provide that description. So a professor doesn't begin with a description, he begins with a problem. And that problem is solved, and during that particular thing, the thoughts are given. So let's say we were to change the method of what the Beth was doing. We could have begun with certain problems that we would have given to you. Maybe this particular problem would have been that how to stay empowered, motivated, inspiring at all times, including difficult times. Suppose we put this as a problem that there is a person who is very, very nice person, but that person is not very motivated, and certainly not very motivated when so much COVID-related things are happening around. So what exactly you will do to help that person? Problem-based learning. So in that particular learning, first the learners will answer, and the teacher will only be a facilitator, and that facilitator will ask questions, and those particular questions will also lead to some explanation of the concepts, and in the end problem is solved, and thoughts are also shared, and learners also learn something new. That is called problem-based learning. So that is the alternative to the lecture method or the PowerPoint presentation method. The third method is what is known as cases. In this particular case, a case is a very, very documentation. So maybe we have this problem described that in that for Hero Motors, which was previously a partner of Hero Honda in India. Now that particular Hero is having a growth problem. It is not growing. For the last 2-3 years, its sales are almost the same. The data activity of the last 2-3 years. They also give you how much money they are making, how much money they are losing, and what is their history, what is their mission, what is their vision. They also give what is their marketing organization, team, everything they mention. So as I said, it becomes much more detailed problem description. And then students or learners solve this question that how to become growth oriented for that particular company by looking at the data, by looking at everything, and how to do that. Now this is a very engaging method, much more engaging than point number one, method number one, and method number two, where you were listening and that person is what is known as sage on the stage. A sage on the stage is more philosophical, much more generic solution rather than customized solutions. Right? So as a result, customized solutions will come here, both in problem number two, learning method number two and learning method number three, this case method. Now this case method also became very boring at times, and therefore people said let's do something different. And that something came to games, simulation, the things where you solve the problem in a virtual environment. In a virtual environment means that you are in a computer thing, and on that particular computer you are taking a decision, and computer is going to tell you because of the programming, algorithms, AI, that this is what you have done and this is the consequence of what you have done. So it will show you your decision and it will also show you your consequence. And that particular consequence you are seeing at the same time. So later on, you have a choice to make changes in your decision so that your consequence becomes better. Now that is what is done in this games and simulation. So this is a very unique, modern method of learning and teaching, which is called the simulation or gamification of learning. Now in this simulation and gamification, four things are important, as you can see on your screen. Number one, decision making. You have to decide. You cannot say, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot take a decision. They'll say, no, sorry, you have to take a decision. Even if you do not want to improve your advertising budget, you tell us why you don't want to improve. If you want to reduce, why? If you want to multiply, why? If you want to go from one method of advertising to another, then decision making. Decision making also means, as I said, consequence. Each consequence will be changed. So then the second thing comes up, and that thing is called risk taking. Please remember that people make millions and billions because they take risks. As I was trying to explain this to a friend from Pakistan, and he said, I want to make 1 million or 6 million. I said, why not? Because people make decisions. And in that there is a risk taking. $250 billion is the total GDP of Dubai. And one Dubai is lost in one particular day on the stock market. Why? Because he said something. Similarly, if this Elon Musk of this Tesla says something, does something, billions are lost, billions are gained. So this is called risk taking. Without risk taking, there's no. So risk return both together. That's what I was trying to mention. The third is that in this game, you yourself come and play. So, like in the old methods of learning and teaching moments or learning opportunities, where were you? Why are you not in the class? You were late. All those things go away because it's a game, so people come and become engaged voluntarily. And finally, we also ask people, what did you learn in playing this game? What are the things you knew? What are the things you didn't know? What will you do things differently? which is called insights and iteration. Iteration means revising the learnings and by doing it again and again. Why iteration means, okay, you didn't do it right first time, second time, third time. I do not know how many of you know that how many takes an actor has to give before he or she gets the scene right on film shoot, or how many times the singer has to sing, rehearse, and changes before you see what a wonderful song it was. So no song comes out right because they do a lot of rehearsal, but you don't see that. You only see the final thing. The same thing here in the case of business. No business will allow you to make mistakes on their cost. They will say, make mistakes before you come to us because our money is not our money. It is shareholders' money. It is social money. And therefore, we have hired you because we believe you know it. But if you do not know it, then you say, I will learn. Well, thank you very much. It's not a coaching institute. Go home, join some other institute, come back. But we will not put money on your learning thing at the that part is not. So the game, the gamification, and this particular thing provides the kind of thing that I am going to talk. So I'm going to just stop this particular thing here, and here have you understood this point or not? Okay, I'm here to hear from all of you whether I'm making sense here or not, and what have you understood by gamification. And then in 1 minute, I will start the game. I will start the game. Anybody who has a question or anything which you have not understood, please go ahead, everyone. Anybody has anything to ask about what the game is? Vedinathan, are you there? Dr. Vedinathan?
Yes, sir.
Could you please, summarize what I said in your words, but summary, very that what I have said for others.
See, we should not to be always on onto the safe zone. We have to try to be on onto taking the risk. As long as when you have been taking the risk, there is a reward which will go down onto that if you are definitely succeed onto that. The taking the risk, that doesn't mean that always we will be on onto the right. It may be sometimes will be some wrong decisions will be there, but we have to be quickly, immediately, as quickly as possible to make a change, adapt to the change, and try to rectify that and come out from the issues or concerns or whatever is that.
Very good. Right. Thank you. Mayank, are you there, Mayank Joshi?
Yes, sir.
What have you understood by this simulation and game? Why it is important or not important from other methods of learning? Since you are doing your MBA.
Yes, sir. Sir, simulation is basically a technique that we use to take decisions. And
That's
sir,
it?
simulation, like in today we see a lot of computers and laptops we are using. So sir, every process in laptop and computer is somewhere using simulation technique.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Rashi, are you there? Rashi Goel, Sumit Kumar, Shruti Mittal. Okay? Alright. Now let's play the game. So what I'm going to do today to you is that in any marketing, there are four essentials. Four essentials. The first essential of any marketing is to understand and satisfy the needs and wants of the customer. That's it. There's no other definition. Marketing means taking all steps to understand, define, deliver, satisfy, exceed the customer's needs, wants, demand, and expectations. That's all. And if you have done this, you have done fantastic marketing. That's all. Now, in order to do this particular thing marketing, essential number one, there is essential number essential number 2 is what are the tools of marketing, instruments of marketing by which you will implement essential number 1. So for that particular thing, the second tool is what we call segmentation, targeting, positioning. Segmentation means that everybody is not the same. Everybody does not have the same needs, wants, expectations, and demands. People are different. But everyone is not different. There are some people who are more similar than dissimilar. More similar than dissimilar. So those people who are similar, they will become one group. One group. And that particular group is called segment. So let me give you an example. Like let us say that there are people from 65-year-old people. Excuse me, my apologies. So there are people who are 65-year-old people. Now you can see that 65 plus people will have many commonalities. For instance, their age. Second, they might be needing more health care. Number 3, they will be having perhaps some life savings. Number 4, they are not in the active earning mode. Number 5, their expenses will be much less than the expenses of 40 years or 50 years person because they wouldn't spend money so much on lifestyle. And number 6, they will be spending a lot more money on travel, on gift, on meeting others and all. Now you have got a segment of the people 65 plus with the characteristics which are more similar than this. Yes, among this thing, you could also say women are different than men. Point well taken. So 65-year-old men and 65-year-old women will be different because of physiological changes, gender schema, so many other things are there which will make one different from the other. The third, you could say geographical. Yes, I get that. So South Indian 65-year-old, North Indian 65-year-old will be different. 65-year-old Emirati will be different than 65-year-old Indian. 65-year-old European will be different than 65-year-old American. So as a result, there is a locational, regional, geographical changes also. Point which we are making is that we need to identify who is the segment possible, which is called segment. And then you decide that T means targeting. So you pick up one segment that you would like to address. You cannot be good to everyone. Don't try to be good to everyone. If you try to be good to everyone, you are actually good to none. So always company decide that which person, which group I want to be the best. That becomes the segment or which you want to target. So like for instance, in the case of Tesla, he knows who is the target market of his car. Not everyone. Similarly, Maruti knows who is their segment for which car. So therefore, you need to know who is your customer more precisely than just this simple thing customer. Every customer is actually not the same. And then B. B would mean that you are creating an image or positioning in the mind of the customer. So that B is called positioning. And for that particular positioning, you will create an image, a brand image. And people will know you by the brand image that you have. So you have a choice what image you want to carry to the others. You may give a brand image to others that you are money minded, that you measure your success by money. Or somebody would say, no, I measure my success by the difference I have made to the people's life. So somebody will say, I will consider myself successful, not just 1 million or 6 million, but I will say that 100 people's life I have changed with mine. I think that's what my image is. So as you may have seen, there's a very wonderful saying. I do not know how many of you have remember it. They say that people are known not for the actions or steps that they have taken, Now that is why companies they need the right image and they will fight for that image. So if suppose somebody says that you are a money-minded person, they will fight. They say, no, I'm not. For me, money is only a means, but it is not the end. So this is the STP, segmentation, targeting, position, which is made as per the segment, as per the. And then the third essential is how do you do that? You do it through the tools of 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, place. Product, price, promotion, place. Product means what is the offer that you have? Is it having some substance or it is airy fairy? Because airy fairy things impresses people but only one time, not every time. There has to be a substance in what you are saying. There has to be a meaning in what you are saying, and there has to be a relevance for the people you are saying. So, very important that your product is good, quality-wise, content-wise. Don't just impress people with nonsense, wonderful words. Those wonderful words do not mean anything after once or twice. So, as a result, good product sells. I'm not saying good product alone sells. If good product was alone selling, then all innovators and inventors would have been successful. They are not. So this is a requirement, but not sufficient requirement. So therefore, first thing is product. The second thing is price. Price means it should be right price. You cannot charge anything you want and get away with it. And you also shouldn't give anything free because most people do not value anything which is given free continuously. Then they say, oh, they must be useless. That's why they are giving free to us. So there has to be a price, but right price. So right product, and the second becomes the right price. The third thing is right advertisement or promotion. You have to choose your promotional methods wisely because the way you appear is the way you are seen by others. So if you are seen, your advertisement is seen in a tabloid of a very, very poor quality in any city, people will say, ah, it must be a useless brand. Or if you are associated with a person who is of questionable quality, then people will also consider you questionable. So therefore, image is very important. Association is very important. Media choice is very, very important. So don't be everywhere, but be where the things are important, where they people. So that becomes P number 3. And P number 4 is the placement. Placement means that you should be at the right place available to the customer. So if the customers are buying online, please be online. If the customers want you in the stores also, please be on the stores. A customer say, give me door to door, sure, here you go. So each and every method of distribution is important to the customer, and therefore that is your choice. If you look into companies like Amazon or many other companies, that they chose the right medium and they also showed to the people this medium is for you. That is why in India and elsewhere, when these shopkeepers, I call them shopkeepers, small store owners, when they say, oh, Amazon is killer, Amazon has killed our business, well, please look inside. What were you doing? Were you doing the things in the modern way? If you were not doing in the modern way, stop trying. Because this is not the right way of doing business. And blaming others rather than blaming self. So if the professor or college doesn't do the best seminars, best speakers, and then the students don't get placement, whose problem is that? That's the problem of the college, that you are not doing the right things. Whose problem is that the students don't do internship? They all want jobs, but are you ready for the job? Have you got that particular skill in it? You saw during this particular meeting that some fellow from somewhere, Mars, in the middle of somebody's thing says, will will I get a certificate? I mean, what kind of stupid question is that? And that too for interrupting someone. Which shows that you are not even professional. You are not even ready for the profession. You don't have self-control. And then thereafter he leaves with that stupid comment, which is not at all, neither willing to listen, but these are called poison people. Poison people do not get very good ahead. They go somewhere, but only to some time. After some time, they lose. So therefore, remain positive, remain professional, remain graceful. All those things are a part of our learning. So given this particular situation, I know that it is very difficult. So let me just very quickly show you one simulation about the first P, and that P was product. How product is designed. Let me show you through a video, and then maybe one day I will invite you again where we can play this game of doing this product designing through a 2-hour workshop. And we can do it again next time, maybe after 10 days or 15 days, and we will invite you again. So here is that micro simulation, and this is the one that I'm talking about. Let's see if I can play it here. Let me see if I can play it here. Because I had tested it, but I think it was working out fine. Let's see whether it is working still. Are you able to see something here? Can you confirm, please?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is coming. Presentation is.
Can you see something
Yes,
here?
sir, it is visible now. Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, so just wait before you answer no. Okay? There is always transition period. Are you able to see this now?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see this now.
Hello, sir. The video is not visible.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The video was not.
It was there in the demo part, but nothing was been running in the video.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just give me a minute, okay? My team, can you please help me here?
Sir, share the screen again.
I'm doing it.
That fulfill those needs.
Are you able to see it?
Use this principle to
Yes, sir.
design a bicycle.
Yes, sir.
As the
Yes, sir. Now it is running.
you attack
Okay, let me try again from the beginning.
understand the basics of product design. Product design is the process of creating a product that customers will want to buy. From cars to chairs to shoes, the products we use or consume in everyday life are the result of this process. We will use an approach based on a method called Quality Function Deployment, or QFD. In its most basic form, QFD is a method that uses customer wants and needs to help guide the process of bringing a product to the market. This begins with research, followed by product design, engineering, manufacturing, and finally, sales and distribution. We'll focus on the product design part of the process. The main idea behind using QFD in product design is that customers buy a product for its benefits, not its features or components. QFD helps the product designer identify customer needs and translate them into product features that fulfill those needs. You'll use this principle to design a bicycle. As the product designer, your task will be to select features that will provide the desired benefits. So fasten your helmet and hit next to start the ride.
Okay, guys. Are you able to
Let's
see it
examine
now?
some possible benefits that your customer might want when they're shopping for a bike. They may want a bike that can handle steeper inclines, one that provides a softer ride on bumps, or can be ridden at night.
Can you please confirm that you are now seeing the new
Yes, sir, the video is running, sir.
Video is running. Benefits and components.
Thank you.
Now let's explore some features or components. Examples of bike features could be a cargo rack, fenders, or lights.
1 minute.
Let's
Go
examine
on.
some possible benefits that your customer might want when they're shopping for a bike. They may want a bike that can handle steeper inclines, one that provides a softer ride on bumps, or can be ridden at night. Now let's explore some features or components. Examples of bike features could be a cargo rack, fenders, or lights. You'll begin the process of designing a bike by studying a set of benefits and features and defining their relationships. First, you'll focus on the relationships in which the product feature adds to the benefit satisfaction. These are positive correlations. You'll then explore relationships in which the feature takes away from the benefit satisfaction. These are negative correlations. To identify all positive correlations, you'll work with one benefit at a time. You'll select the bike features that you think will satisfy the benefit. Sometimes it may take multiple features to fully provide a particular benefit. In other cases, one feature can satisfy multiple benefits. Hit next when you're done working with each benefit.
Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, guys. Have you understood
Yes, sir.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let me come back to you. Now, what will happen in the game that all of you will be divided into a team of 4 or 5 people. And those 4 and 5 people will be answering that what should be the feature in my bike, in this bike. In other words, you are designing your own bike. And then you will learn how to design your bike by knowing what is the cost of each making a feature, what is the manufacturing cost of that feature, whether it is matching the need and wants of the customers or not. So all those particular things you will do, and you will submit your design to the computer. And the computer will later on tell you that whether your design was good or not. And this design got to this much customers, that design got to that much customers, the other design got to. So it's a competition between those 4 or 5 teams. And each team makes his or her product given the design like segmentation, targeting, positioning. Remember, segmentation, targeting, positioning. So group 1 may say, I want to go for mountain bikers. The group 2 may say, I want to go for city bikers. The third group may say, I want to do it for weekly family biking. Now remember, in all the 3 bikes, segment is different, profile is different, therefore the product features will also be different because benefits are different. So this is how you are playing the game simulation in this particular manner, and eventually you will get to know whether that particular thing was useful to you or not. And that is exactly the point which I was trying to make through this simulation. So in our next session, if you are still interested, I would request all of you to join and join with your other friends also in the same college and form a team. In other words, when we do next time, I will not expect Archie to be there. I would expect Archie to be there as a group leader of 3 or 4 people. Or I don't want Bharti to be there. I want Bharti to be there as a team leader of 4 or 5 people. And then Bharti's team, Ashi's team, Shivangi's team, Chanda's team. In other words, let's see how many teams we get. And then we will play this game at how to design a bike. That is our game for the second season. I'm not stopping as far as talking is concerned. You are welcome to ask any questions you want to ask. Go ahead, guys. Akanksha, are you there? Abhishek, any of the two? Akanksha or Abhishek or Aditi?
Yes, sir.
Akanksha. Yeah, go ahead. What did you learn, madam? Did you follow what I said? Hello?
Yes, sir. I want to say something.
So next time, can I have you there with your team? Team of 3 or 4 people from your college? Can somebody write in the chat box that I will be the person I will bring the team next time? Please write in the chat box quickly so that we can invite you for this thing. Anybody, please? Shubham, are you there, Shubham?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, all right. What is your view? Will you be able to bring? Okay, Dhruv Patel has said he will bring his team. Dhruv, can you contact our team for this, please?